About 10 years ago, I had a former classmate from high school who got addicted to gambling online. He and several of his friends used to play poker online, and he got a number of superstitions about what would happen if his friend were watching him play, or if his friend had borrowed his account. All of a sudden, he would go into a losing streak, and it was obviously a fallacy. But I run into the same fallacy myself, not with gambling because I don't gamble. He caused me a little bit of a grief one time because we had gone to the shopping mall, and he knew I didn't like the fact that he gambled, but he walked past the lottery ticket machine and asked me if he should buy a lottery ticket. I really didn't want to answer him because if I told him no, and then later on that night when we turned on the news, we discovered somebody had won $1 billion at that machine, that would be terrible. And I just pretended not to hear him, and I went somewhere else in the shopping mall, and I actually told him I'll be right back because I knew there was a store, and there was a girl that I liked in the store, working at that store, and I let him make his own decision on the lottery because he was very superstitious about it. Anyways, I'm getting back to my fallacy. I'm driving a Mitsubishi Lancer, which I bought about 3 years ago, and a few months before I bought the Lancer, I had a Honda Accord, and I had totaled it. I was distracted while I was driving. I have a problem with daydreaming when I'm driving. I've done it a few times in here, fortunately without a problem, but I always kick myself when I do it because I realize how close to trouble I run into sometimes. Part of the problem with daydreaming is that it sneaks up on me. I never go out for a drive and think I'm gonna sit here and daydream and drive. You know, it's not like drinking and driving or texting and driving where you almost have to premeditate doing it. The daydreaming will sneak in. As you're driving, all of a sudden you're thinking about how I'm gonna talk to my boss today, or what's going to happen, or even just the conditions of the road itself. You're worried about traffic in front of you, or it's easy for the mind to sneak away. Anyways, I always wish the car had some way to tell if you were daydreaming. Maybe as you're driving, it will ask you questions that you won't be able to answer unless you're actually focused on the road. Like, it will ask you how many cars are in front of you, what color is the car in front of you, and if you answer incorrectly, it could do something to prevent you from driving any further, kind of like an interlock device, but for daydreaming instead. I always wish cars came with that. Anyways, I've been really afraid of driving recently because of I feel I'm due for a car accident just because of the record. You know, the previous record that I've ever driven without a fender bender, at least, I think was like at most a year, and now I've gone almost 3.5 years. And then in terms of distance, it's even more incredible. I think I've gone about 7 or 8 times the distance compared to my previous record without an accident, and I just feel like I'm due for an accident any day now. And sometimes I'm a very logical thinker, and sometimes I almost, oh my god, every drive I take takes me one drive closer to the next accident, right? Unless I go my whole life without another accident, it probably does, right? Actually, part of the reason I made myself travel to Macau earlier this summer, aside from the game conference, was I wanted to pretend when I came back I had a new car. You know, I went to Macau, and when I came back, I made sure to wash the car, both the exterior and the interior. I fixed up a few things. I changed the tires, and I just pretended I had a new car so I could start over from zero, because I had a feeling that my time was running short on my previous car. You know, I almost wanted to trade up the car, but unfortunately I can't really do that right now. But I did the next best thing to kind of reset the superstition, if you will. Anyways, you guys have any crazy superstitions? Leave a comment if you do. Thanks for watching.